How about that then? 191 for the Punjab Kings after KKR put them in. We look back at that innings on ESPN Cricket for T20 timeout with Tom Moody, who predicted 179 and is just 2 hits short. But between us on our show, we had that covered, Tom.
Yes, we did, and I thought you might bring that up right at the beginning.
I did.
Yes, you did pick exactly 191.
I get very little right, so when I do, cherish
it's nice. Take the tick.
Yeah.
Well done.
But if you are in that Punjab Kings dugout, are you saying well done, 191?
Yeah, they'll be happy with that. I think, having been put into bat, not really knowing exactly how the conditions were going to play out, it looks like a good batting surface. I think that's a very good score. I thought that around that 180 mark was going to be competitive, but putting another 10 on top of that or 11 on top of that is a strong score. But they've got to bowl well.
It had the feel of the kind of innings you won batting first in a T20 game, even without two of your key batters now in Bairstow and Livingston. You had Prabh Simran striking at nearly 200, Rajapaksa with a 50 of 32. He just kept going with 160. Jitesh Sharma striking at 190, Sam Curran finishing with the strike rate in excess of 150, and Shikhar Dhawan anchoring at that 135, 140 sort of strike rate. You'd be pretty happy with that template, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And you also got to recognise that, someone like Shikhar realised that he had to be that cornerstone. And not always you can be flying at both ends. It's important to have that stability at one end, and that's exactly what he provided. And more often than not, you see Shikhar Dhawan pushed that out to an 80 or a 90 plus. Yeah. But, he fell short with a good delivery today. But, it's a pretty good formula, as you pointed out. You have a number of people striking high, even though they didn't push on and get big scores. Except for, Rajapaksa, 50, that was a significant contribution in the first 10 overs.
It's so nice that Rajapaksa does this, because he's not the player who gets to play as much as perhaps he deserves to in IPL.
Yeah, look, again, he's sort of been in and out of international cricket with Sri Lanka for various reasons. He's had his challenges with fitnesses, passing fitness tests, and his own fitness as well, being injured on a number of occasions. But he's just shown again how dynamic he can be. He's a good player, he's a good boundary hitter. He's a particularly good player against spin, and we've seen that on a couple of occasions over the last couple of years. So, all those things put together, he's a pretty good package. Yeah,
you did say that Matt Short could be the likeliest replacement because of the like-for-like job, but it looks like Rajapaksa with Prabh Simran at the top now is perhaps the best way for Punjab to go with Livingston back.
Yeah, I think so. And I also I know Shikhar Dhawan's a left-hander, but I also like the left-handedness, in that top six. I think it just throws a challenge to the opposition with regards to the various matchups. And particularly given he is a good player of spin, if an opposition's wanting to introduce spin early, like KKR did today with Narayan, he's got the capabilities to combat that.
Yeah. In all fairness, though, that did not look like a very threatening bowling lineup for 20 overs for KKR. The exception being Varun Chakravarti, who had a good day, and Umesh Yadav too, but doesn't look like the meanest of bowling attacks, Tom.
Yeah, look, on paper it's okay. It looks okay, but they didn't really, throw many punches, did they? Interesting enough, Andre Russell not bowling.
Yes.
He's clearly, injured, and he's the type of guy that does throw a punch. He's that impact bowler. He's not always going to give you economy, but what he's going to bring is some wickets. But I think they missed him coming in and having that impact and throwing a few punches.
How do you judge the starting 11 for their bowling first now? If they knew Andre Russell cannot bowl, they've given themselves just the 5 bowling options. I find that a bit curious as well.
Yeah, well, again, we're throwing all these different things up in the studio here, and I'm sure they've had those discussions. But you would have thought, winning the toss and bowling, they wouldn't have, in knowing that Russell wasn't going to bowl, you're better off just not having him in there playing 11, and then introducing him into the second half of the game as the impact player. That would have made sense. Because then it would have given them flexibility to play someone that could bowl, to give them that depth. But again, teams will learn from these experiences, and hopefully they're listening to us on replay and getting some thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious on Anukul Roy's role as well here, who's an all-rounder, who's supposed to be able to bowl some left-arm spin and bat left-handed. So we'll see how that goes. Let's talk impact subs, though, with Moody. Punjab, what's their best bet? I think Rashid Dhawan, we saw pictures of him lined up to come back. I don't know if he would be a good impact sub regardless, to give them an extra seam option.
Yeah, I'd imagine he would be the option for sure. You know, his change of pace, his experience will be pretty much required. You know, bowling, and particularly in those middle overs, I think he'd be the obvious choice to come in for that role.
Yeah, and let's just, if you just pull out the teams that we showed you before the game with the impact subs, we'll just scan through the options that they have. Can KKR do something to extend their batting order? Because I guess this is now your classic case, if you've thought of it as a think tank, that now I need to optimize my batting. Now, is that optimized, I'm guessing, with Venkatesh Iyer possibly coming in straight away at the top of the order, Tom?
That would be the obvious one for Chakravarti, be the obvious exchange there. So Chakravarti would come into the sub bench, if I could put it that way, and Iyer would go in that top three. I'm not a huge fan of seeing Nitish Rana's name there at 3. I think he's better suited at 4 and 5.
Yep.
And Rinku Singh as well, pushed down a little bit further. So Iyer, somewhere in that top 3, will just provide that depth and stability to that top order.
It just, I mean, at the cost of repeating ourselves, again, Venkatesh Iyer could so easily have featured in this starting 11 to give them an extra bowling option.
Let's don't go there.
It's just baffling. Let's have a quick look at Punjab as well, please, and see if there are any other options that they can use instead of Rashid Dhawan. Now, Tarvataide is more a batter, so too is Matthew Short. There is Harpreet Singh Bhatia, and you've got Mohit Rathi in there as well. So those are your options. But from what you've seen, Tom, I don't know what judgments we can make with Chakravarti having acquired 4 overs and Umesh having acquired 4 overs, whether there's a way to bowl on this surface, which looks a good one otherwise.
Well, certainly historically, bowling in Mohali, you need to bowl straight. That's a given. Any width, you're going to get punished. I quite like the idea of Rishi Dhawan coming into that side, because with the keeper up, with his change of pace, you know, he will be probably the hardest to take advantage of on any surface, and that surface looks like a good batting pitch. So I think he'll provide the variety that they'll need.
All right, we shall find out. They can go with the seam bowling option of Rashid Dhawan, or Mohit Rathi can bowl some leg spin if they want to go that way. They already have Rahul Chahar. They've got a pretty good looking bowling attack regardless, and they have enough options too. Harpreet Brar is a left arm spinner. You got Ellis and Arshdeep. You've got Sam Curran, Sikandar Raza. You're quite happy to be captaining that set of bowlers, aren't you?
They've got the spin covered. They've got every variety of spin. The one thing that I hope to see from Kings 11 and the management is better management of Chahal.
Rahul Chahar. Rahul Chahar, yeah.
Because I felt that he went missing last year, but I think that was partly due to his mismanagement. He's a very good bowler, and I think he was nowhere near his best, and I think a lot of that was to do with the way he was managed. So, did
you bring that up with Anil when you were here for the World Cup?
I will do next time.
Right. Yeah.
But I just felt that he was. I thought, you know, he when he was with Mumbai, he bowled very, very well, and his, you know, trajectory was going that way as a young cricketer, and he sort of went missing for 12 months.
Yeah, and he's part of the India setup at that time as well. He's very quickly gone out of
and I think he's a very good bowler, and he could be very important to their campaign this year.
Spin seems to have worked today, though. Varun Chakravarti, impressive for another player who has just suddenly been shunted out of the mainstream conversation. Retained player, dropped last year, but this is a good start for him. One of the few bright spots for KKR in those 20 overs.
Yeah, again, he bowled straight, didn't he? And I think he also, there wasn't a lot of turn, but he's clever enough with his variations that he only needs to have that subtle difference of an inch either side of a straight line. And because his accuracy is there, and I noticed his pace was up. So that was a positive sign. He's obviously fit and strong. He's carried a few injuries over the last 12 months or so, and he seems to be in good physical condition. Therefore, he's getting the rewards.
All right. It looks like Remanullah Gurbaz is certainly walking out, and I think that's Mandeep Singh, if I get the frame right of what I've seen. So that is the opening combination. So Mandeep and Remanullah Gurbaz and Venki Iyer, if it indeed is the impact sub, the KKR are keeping their
He's in the starter blocks.
cards. Yeah,
he's
they're
in the
keeping their
starter
cards,
blocks, ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, if he's not, we've got something to talk about, haven't we?
Yes, they're possibly considering him. Punjab have a leg spinner and a left arm spinner, so I don't know if they're looking at the left-handers to play a different role. Good luck figuring out what KKR are trying to do. Let me have a quick prediction from Tom Moody. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, I think Punjab have got enough.
Okay.
I really do. Still, it's a good surface, but I think they've got enough.
A standard question we ask in every KKR chase is, at what point are you looking to inject Andre Russell in? It's been happening for about 15 years.
If you ask
I've done it for 10 years over here.
If you ask Andre Russell, he'll probably want to go in the 10th over, but I think they tend to push him a little bit deeper, so he might be forced in early. Who knows? There might be 4 down, 5 down for not many.
All right, we leave it then with Tom Moody, who thinks this should be a win for Punjab. They've got enough. So we look back at this game and we also build up to the evening encounter between Delhi and Lucknow. Join us then on ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. And before I leave you, make sure you download the ESPN Cricket for mobile app. Just head to the App Store or Play Store, where you can get the fastest live scores, news, features, analysis, and all our coverage on the IPL. We'll see you at the end of this game, building up to the evening one.